Gentlemen, I know we have been quick to start the last few episodes, but gosh darn, I will make sure we start this one quick too. We are at the Cave of the Lion.
Hey, I love the excitement. Although I think you need to slow down a bit. We are far not ready to charge right at the lion. Besides, we have no idea where it is.
Bush, how can you be so fearless?
Everyone, I have an announcement to make.
Oh, God.
Hello all, everyone settled in?
1 second before we start, Jeff, I was just saying I have an announcement to make. I have been catching up on the comments for the last few sessions. You know I have been busy, and I saw a comment claiming I am a warlock. I have one thing to say to you. You are fake news.
Well, I have to say, I didn't expect that.
Are we allowed to attack our commenters?
I'm not sure that was an attack.
I had noticed some signs now you pointed out.
What?
You do say blast a lot and regenerative spells after a short rest?
Obama. You are fake news.
I am going to have to rein this in, gentlemen. If Aristos wants to probe Donovan in session, I welcome that. But as George said right at the start, we are on the edge of a big moment for the party to decide on a course of action, but before we do, we need to talk MVP. Well, in all honesty, it's a short competition. Biden won with a clear majority. Everyone's so impressed with your leadership and survival skills, especially those you displayed while tracking the lion. Taurus, a few savvy commenters gave tactical MVP votes, hoping the party's tank would be the one with a spare roll up his sleeve. But alas, Bixby will be the one inspired this session. Let hope he can use it for greatness. Congrats, Joe.
Hope is all we have.
Hey, now I won fair and square.
I doubt that.
Gentlemen, moving on, who wants to do the introduction recap where we are at in this tense moment?
Well, I'm about as excited as us Longhorns fans were back in '05. I hope you fellas don't mind if I take this one.
Anyone but the cheater.
Come on, Harsh, but Bush, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't cheat.
Well, folks, it's been one hell of a journey so far. We came to Greece looking for a little fame, a little fortune, and ended up in the middle of one big God-blessed mess. Hired by the academic, a fancy elf who knows more about this land than I do about cattle, we got tangled up in fights, relic hunts, and schemes from the get-go. But the biggest, meanest problem so far? This here lion with a hide tougher than a hoplite shield. The Nemean Lion. Folks tell stories about it like it's just another bedtime tale, but let me tell you, this thing ain't no bedtime story. We fought our way through bandits, scoundrels, and even dragons, well, sort of, just to get a shot at finding it. And now, well, we might just be standing at its front door. Before we made it here, we barely got out of that bandit camp alive. We sneaked, we fought, we bluffed, and when all that failed, we ran like hell. Those bandits weren't keen on letting us go either. They chased us into the valley, sent horsemen after us, forced us into ambushes and scraps we barely scraped through. Aristos almost didn't make it. Hell, I thought we'd lost him for good when he got knocked down unconscious. But somehow, we pulled it together, hit those horsemen hard, and finally shook loose from the bigger force that was hunting us. Not without a few new scars, mind you. After all that, we weren't exactly in fighting shape, but we had no choice but to keep moving for a while. Rest ain't an option when there's a horde of riled up bandits hot on your tail. Eventually, though, we managed to lose our pursuers and catch enough sleep for a much-needed long rest before setting off and tracking down signs of the lion, with the mighty MVP Bixby leading us in our attempts. And after a few days of searching for any signs, we were eventually successful. And now here we are, days into this overgrown valley, hot on the trail of a monster. This place is wild, untouched. Ain't no deer or goat chewing the grass down, just thick brush, towering cliffs, and the feeling that something real mean is watching us. When we finally found the cave in our search, it wasn't just some cozy little den. Nah, the entrance is littered with bones, big ones too, an ogre carcass, mangled and half rotted, and worse still, a few that look mighty human. You don't need to be a fancy scholar to know this is the place. We've hunted, we've fought, we've bled, and now we've found what we came for. Only question left is, are the rest of y'all ready for what's inside?
I sure am.
I'm not sure exactly what to be ready for.
I'm with Bixby. How can we be ready for such a big unknown?
A timeless question, Aristos. Ah, yes, now this is quite the sight, gentlemen. The mountainside before you is a rugged, untamed stretch of earth, ancient stone worn smooth in some places by wind and rain, jagged and broken in others where time has been less kind. Small shrubs cling stubbornly to the cracks in the rock, their roots finding purchase in the narrow crevices. A few twisted trees stand sentry, gnarled and weathered by the elements, their branches sparse but still providing patches of shade against the golden afternoon light. Now, as you near the cave itself, the landscape shifts, the cliffs rise sharply on either side, hemming in the entrance to this dark and foreboding den. Unlike the wilder parts of the valley where the grass grows unchecked, here in front of the cave, the ground is packed and bare, flattened by years, maybe decades of something massive passing through again and again. A well-worn path, wide and unmistakable, cuts straight to the mouth of the cave. The air carries a certain weight, a stillness that doesn't sit quite right, as if the very earth is holding its breath. And then beyond, flanking either side of the cave, the forest thickens once more. Towering trees press in from the edges, their dense canopies swallowing the sunlight, leaving only dappled patches of gold on the forest floor. The deeper shadows of the woods stretch long, obscuring whatever else may be lurking nearby. But right now, all that stands between you and whatever dwells within is that dark, gaping maw of stone. I share these details to set the scene for your approach.
I'm not afraid. I say we walk in a tight formation right up to the cave mouth and take a look at what's inside.
I really want to avoid fighting it. Remember, our actual mission is just the rope of Hera.
Same.
But if we are to fight it, do we think it would be better in a tight cave where we are bunched up and easier to get to?
Yes, but the lion will also be restricted in its movements, judging by the size of its prey, in a tight cave.
My thoughts exactly.
A tough call, but I fear one that might not be up to us. I suspect that cowardly lion will pick the battle that suits him and leave us to make do with what we can. I'm not afraid, though. We can take it on any terms. We are a mighty group when united.
You make an excellent point. We are pretty tremendous.
All right, let's be smart about this. We've got the location, but we don't know what's inside. A lion with impenetrable skin? Rushing in seems like the worst possible plan.
Wrong. Rushing in is the best possible plan. We hit it fast, we hit it hard, and we take the pelt right off that lion's back before it even knows what hit it.
We don't even know if it's in there right now, man. What if we just, I don't know, hang back, watch for a bit? Maybe set up a nice little campsite, get some snacks, take turns at having a nap.
A nap? The thing is in there, Joey, probably listening to us yammer on right now. Hell, what if it ain't in there at all? What if we are the ones being hunted? We rush right in and it comes behind us.
That's my concern. We've been tracking it, but what if it's already aware of us? It's a predator, a legendary one at that. We assume it's sleeping in its den, but what if it's circling around, waiting for us to step inside and be the ones caught off guard?
So what? We just stand here and wait for it to come to us? Because if it comes down to that, I vote we set the trap instead. You're all thinking about not getting killed, but what about actually killing the damn thing? We bought all that gear to lay a trap, right?
And how do you propose we do that? Oh, wise strategist.
Simple. We go in controlled. Tight formation, weapons drawn as Taurus said. We force it into a choke point where it can't move freely. I don't care how tough its skin is. Even lions have soft spots, eyes, mouth. Maybe we can bind it, slow it down, or...
Feed it a poisoned steak.
We don't have a poisoned steak, Bixby.
Not yet. We have the poison. Got it in that town, right? Just no steak.
Even if we had poison, which we don't, by the way, Bix, the town Medea had none, remember. And even if we had a steak to get the poison into, we know that Lord Leon Tarkos said poisons might not even be effective. No one knows.
How do you remember his name?
How do you not remember he was talking about lighting it on fire?
Was he?
That does ring a bell. He said it was resistant or immune to fire, right?
Whatever, no poison, we didn't need it anyway. But listen, I say we get into the cave fast, find a position where we can fight it without it having full control of the battlefield. It's its home, so it knows every nook and cranny. We need time to find a good spot. The longer we wait, the more it has the advantage.
Right? But what if it's in there? We're assuming it's out, not lounging on a pile of bones waiting for us. But what if it's just hunting? What if we go in, it comes back behind us, and suddenly we're the ones in the trap?
Wait, what if we scout the cave first? Send someone sneaky to check out the inside.
That could work. If we can confirm it's in there, we can plan accordingly. If not, we set up an ambush at the entrance instead.
Fine, send your little rabbit man in, but if we see so much as a whisker of this thing, we commit to the attack.
Oh, no chance I go in there alone.
What's the point of you then?
Come on, Donovan, be more polite. It is a big ask.
He's a dex-based fighter. We don't have a rogue. No one built for stealth. He's the best we have.
Bixby, take the compliment. You are well-rounded enough to sneak in ahead of us, but fast enough to run or strong enough to survive the few turns needed for us to catch up.
Those are all good arguments.
Well, I do agree with you, right up to the point where I go in alone. What have I told you about caves and underground? I don't like them.
Still so weird to hear a rabbit, Harrigan, say that. I assumed you guys live in warrens and stuff.
No way. We live in houses. Common man.
I thought we got past this in that kobold cave, Bixby. How are you still scared?
That cave filled with giant rats, giant spiders, and they were kind of nice in the end. Anyway, I was there with my 3 best friends. I will do this cave the same, but no way I go in there solo, not with a lion ready to have a coney dinner. I have before, and it's delicious, so I'd understand.
I am glad you said that on the march. We always used to catch a few rabbits for the protein content. Have to be careful, though, they aren't nutritionally balanced.
I didn't expect you to understand nutrition.
You see a herd of like 500 minotaur with giant muscles and washboard abs and don't think we know a thing about nutrition?
First he attacks rabbit people, now minotaurs. Aren't you meant to be the progressive one, Aristos?
Shut it. That's not what I meant, and you know it.
I call it how I see, hear it.
Nutrition class was right after combat training every day, managing macro and micronutrients.
Boring. Let's go back to talking about steaks. What do you think Magic Lion tastes like?
We need to focus on the situation at hand. We know it's a risk, but seems like we all are set on at least getting a lay of the mouth of that cave. What do we think about sneaking back up and through the tree line over this cliff to get a better look down over the valley?
Nah, let's just charge straight in.
I think going via the forest makes sense. We get to see more, know another escape route a bit better, and...
Blah, 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 Jeff. I unsling my axe, grip it in my hands, and start forward at the cave, not sprinting or creeping, just maintaining a confident pace. One eye on all corners of this little divot, the other on that cave entry.
Bixby, grab him.
Don't.
Well,
Too late, Bixby, as you hesitated. Taurus is off.
Come on, Taurus, one-man army.
It's called the Lone Star State for a reason. I'll do this with or without your help.
All right, go behind him. Jeff, we hurry up for what it takes to get in formation behind Taurus.
I suggested Diamond, Aristus the squishy at the back, Donovan on my left.
Very specific.
I follow those orders, Jeff. I don't know any better.
Can I grab a recording of that? Your presidency in one soundbite.
You sure can, Bixby.
Not what I meant, Don.
Ah, now this is where things get interesting, my friends. The time for debate is over, and Taurus, ever the fearless one, takes the lead, his massive frame cutting an imposing silhouette against the rocky terrain. The rest of you fall in behind him, forming a tight diamond formation, every footstep carefully placed, every breath measured. The flattened grass beneath your boots does little to soften the tension, each crunch underfoot a reminder that stealth is long abandoned. This is a direct assault, a march into the lion's den in the truest sense. The air grows thick, heavy with the scent of old kills and damp stone. Shadows spill from the mouth of the cave, yawning wide like the maw of some ancient beast waiting to swallow you whole. The sun is behind you now, its light failing to penetrate the darkened depths ahead. Bixby, your every instinct screams at you to pause, to hesitate, to reconsider, but Taurus doesn't slow. His horns gleam faintly in the dim light, his grip tightening on his weapon, and so you follow, not wanting to let your friends down. The sounds of the valley begin to fade behind you, no rustling grass, no distant birdsong, just the rhythmic crunch of boots on dirt and the steady inhale-exhale of warriors bracing for the unknown. The cave looms larger now, its entrance swallowing the last traces of daylight as you press forward. Whatever awaits inside has surely heard you coming.
We don't slow Jeff, we keep pushing in.
What do we see before us?
Aren't you supposed to be watching behind us?
Was that the plan? Since when? Jeff, I want to know what I see in that cave entry as we get closer.
Seems like bare rock, regularly moved through, so well worn. There are a few tufts of golden orange fur caught on some of the rougher edges, in fact confirming, if not the lion, something of a tremendous size and similar color lives here.
Sounds like we got lucky gents. We are about to make history.
The cave continues beyond your sight, seeming to both open up and curve gently to your left, out of sight.
Oh, hearing that somehow makes me more nervous.
How possibly?
Remembering the unknown, I don't know.
Well, keep your mutterings to yourself. We don't need defeatism.
Hey, reminds me of Killzone. Miss those games, Jeff. I plunge on into the darkness of the cave, eager for what's ahead, axe in my hands, poise is needed.
The space in front of you is, as I described, tight maybe 10 feet across at the entry and where most of the fur buildup is. Now you are up close, you see there is even fur on some of the roof, easily 12 feet above you.
Oh, Hephaestus, may our flame burn whatever is monstrous enough to make that.
As you move into the opening, you notice two things. Firstly, a long resting skeleton, mostly intact, looking humanoid with a few draconic features.
Not the kobold.
There is only one.
Yeah, plus Jeff said they are old. Surely our friends wouldn't be that ancient.
I'm glad to hear you call them friends.
This skeleton looks too big, too well formed to be a kobold, at least not any of the three you met. No, this skeleton is, as Donovan described, as ancient. It is covered in many fine layers of cobweb and dust.
Okay, so definitely not them.
Gentlemen, I propose we leave a man behind here to watch the entry. We don't want anyone sneaking up behind us.
I was watching behind us.
Clearly not. The skeleton and everything you are talking about is in front of even Taurus.
Well,
It has to be Bixby.
No way are you leaving me to face the lion alone.
How much deeper do you really want to come into the cave? Bixby? You can stay here and stay where you can see sunlight. The rest of us will go a little deeper, but not beyond shouting range.
You know what makes sense, Bixby? We need someone agile in case the lion does come up behind us. We want to have notice if we are trapped in. Maybe find somewhere to hide or at least make a last stand. We need you to be able to run to us without alerting the lion exactly what's going on.
Bixby, think to yourself honestly, where do you think the lion is more likely to be? In its house or right behind us, ready to come back in the few short moments?
We are just going right up there around that corner, not too far.
We'd probably be back by now if we just left.
Just that bit right up there? Okay, well, don't leave me alone too long. I'll stay on guard.
Good man. Stay frosty and keep your eyes peeled. Jeff, I press on, look into this corner, keeping my own eyes peeled.
Perfect here. Given we are all starting to take actions, I will get everyone to roll both stealth and perception, and although not in initiative, to simulate the dungeon, we will keep loose turns.
This is a big second of rolling.
Jeff, I am tremendously sneaky. I got a 16 on stealth, but only a 9 for perception. I guess I have one thing really on my mind.
Understood, noted. Who's next?
I'll go. I guess I was the opposite. A good perception roll of 17, stealth a little lacking though at 12.
Hey now, 12 for the lowest isn't bad.
When it comes to sneaking around a giant overeater, I prefer to be as sneaky and silent as possible.
Well, I'll see where you are coming from, Jeff. I roll similar to Donovan, a high stealth roll of 19, but only 9 on perception. I guess I am trying really hard to be sneaky and not really paying much attention to what's around me.
I like that. Makes sense. Bixby holding up the rear.
I have to say I feel a lot more confident after rolling those dice, Jeff. I got a dirty 20 for perception and 17 for stealth. I am like the jaguar, poised in the dark, ready to pounce.
Your knowledge of cats is lacking. but I'll forgive you if you keep rolling like that.
Bixby's on edge.
I'm just glad you didn't take an easy shot at the lion punt.
Oh, what? I didn't even think of that.
No chance. We are leaving Bixby behind in his very hidden position and creep up around this corner as quietly as we can.
Perfect. What you see is a junction that looks somewhat like the letter K, with you approaching from the top right of the letter. So it has one path that seems to run from right to left, or vice versa, both ends extending beyond your limited view in this enclosing darkness. There is also a path almost backwards on your immediate left, also again leading off into darkness.
3 paths, 3 of us, gentlemen. My brain says stay as a group, but my heart says be quick. I know you two will want to split right.
Yes, sir.
Sure, I guess.
Okay. Well, any preferences? No? Okay, well, how about we go me, Don, then Taurus, left to right? I'll take this little offshoot. You both take the longer, straight-looking piece.
Works for me.
Don't go more than 1 movement, so 30 feet from the point we break up from. That way we are all still 1 turn away.
Jeff, who goes first?
Alphabetical order suits me.
Rigged, his name is Obama, right, or Hussein?
Character names.
Right, so even more rigged, typical?
So, Aristos, how do you want to proceed?
Keeping slow and quiet, I want to move into this space following the corridor.
You quickly see it's only a narrow opening for a small subchamber in the cave network.
Oh, okay, what's in it?
As you move deeper in, keeping your eyes up on the dark edges of this room, you see that's all it is. A smaller room or chamber, no more than 20 feet deep, and looking at it probably wider than that. This is where the good news ends. As you allow yourself a second to take in the floor, you see it scattered with a litter of bones. Mostly animal, but clearly a few humanoid. The majority of these are as ancient as the one in the entryway, but 4 stand out, 2 human and 2 cows, whose bones look very white, perhaps caught recently.
I know this is a bit morbid, but this looks like good news to me. It looks like a couple of cattle rustlers bit the dust. Good riddance for society, but even better, it looks like there might be cattle nearby we can buy or barter for as bait, because clearly the lion eats a cow or 2.
Wow, that's a great observation.
You're up now, Bixby.
I am going to keep this pretty simple, Jeff. I am keeping as small and quiet as I can, not moving a single muscle, and am keeping my eyes peeled for any sign of the lion approaching. Unusual grass patterns, scared birds, or the sudden and deathly appearance of giant fangs and claws.
Nice and simple.
Took a while to get it out, though. My turn, right? Okay, good finally, Jeff. What do I see?
Yours is indeed a corridor or passageway, staying narrow and leading off into the darkness.
Careful.
Don't worry about me. Probably another dead end.
After a few moments of quick movement, you see that you are in fact correct, and it is a dead end, but you are pleasantly surprised to see there is a chest lodged up against the end wall.
Really now? I rush forward to see what's in it.
Inside you find very limited but useful results. It looks like this was a last chance stash hidden away. Inside you find 5 more gems, total worth 50 gold. You find 3 platinum coins and most importantly a healing potion. Surprisingly, not even another copper in there.
I take them all, taking the care to make sure the potion ends up in my backpack, the coins and gems in my belt pouch for now.
A useful find.
Careful, Aristos, you are not there and have no idea he has found anything.
Yeah, Aristos, no metagaming, movement and action done, Jeff. Nothing further required from my magnificent self. Back to you.
Much appreciated. Taurus, do you follow along into the dark 30 feet?
Sure do.
Your path has the feeling of being the true one, descending deeper into the cave beyond sight, peeling away and close to a 90-degree left turn, opening up into a larger chamber.
Okay, with that in mind, I push deeper. I can do that right.
If you dash, you break your stealth as you are no longer using your action to hide.
Okay, fine, sure. A bit of bottleneck can never hurt no one right.
Hopefully you don't see it that way. Do the 3 adventurers reconvene on their next turn?
Sure do. I come and tell the others what I found.
Hey, that's great news. My tunnel continues on. This place is a warren. It gets deeper and deeper. Donovan, any luck?
I found a dead end and a measly empty ancient chest like some old loser bandit stashed it here but never got back to leave a dime.
Insight check.
Always back to this with you.
If you didn't keep lying, I wouldn't have to.
I'm not lying. See, my 23 says so.
Well, I need a 19 to match that. 10% chance and no? That's a 7 for an 11 total. Fine, keep your secrets.
I have no secrets, Aristos. Now should we press on?
I crawl halfway back to Bixby and let him know we are going deeper.
Don't leave me here alone.
We need you there, buddy. Hold on half a minute longer. You'll do great.
Ah, shucks. Okay, I got this.
Sure do. Jeff, we press on.
Okay, you head back up the path Taurus had explored, quickly moving back into that chamber before you lie 3 paths. One a first offshoot of this chamber, but as you move closer towards it, you can see the corridor on the other side of the doorway also has a split choice.
Oh, great.
We go down the middle.
Which one is middle?
Left first, then right.
How is that middle?
How are you so confident?
I don't know. It just feels right. Let's see what's there. We can always double back.
You know what? Sure.
Okay, fine, I guess.
The party presses on, unsure what they are missing, but the cave does seem to open up again, much larger and wider than any before, even seeming to have a central column.
This feels right. Are we hidden in the dark? I want to press right up to the cave wall as I try and make details out in the darkness.
You spend so much focus, Taurus, trying to peer into the dark void, trying to see into the infinite black, you realized you have neglected what is right in front of you.
What's that?
In the dark, your eyes can peer as much as they like, but what holds constant is your other sense, notably smell and hearing. This room smells like absolute death. Foul, rotting meat and decay is pungent.
Gross.
Delightful.
Smells like work back home. Confirms this is the place of some sort of monster, if not a lion, but the clues, the fur and prints are there. The second thing, Jeff?
Oh, that. Well, very subtly at first, you noticed the grumble of soft breathing, long, deep breaths so slow and calm, and they almost sounded like the mountain itself shifting and groaning, but once you notice them, they penetrate your very soul, for they become unmistakable. The grumble of breathing, a slow, grinding snore powered by huge lungs.
Oh, no, not like this in its cave.
There is a moment where you are all still frozen in this realization until Aristos moves, breaking the moment.
I signaled to Taurus and Donovan that it's time to go out. We know what's in here. We can make a plan and trap it or something. Let's get back to Bixby.
That's very complex to signal.
I try my best anyway.
It's in this very moment, as you are all distracted for a moment, looking at the vague shape of Aristos in the dark waving his hands around, that you all freeze with fear. The snoring has stopped.
Jeff, I grabbed my axe.
Not just yet, George. We are going to end the episode there so you can get some more advice from the comments.
Gosh, I think we need it. How many turns are we past Bixby?
You've traveled about 120 feet into the cave, so you are talking a few turns at full pace.
For the first time this session, I feel actually somewhat safe. You know where the lion is, so I'm close to safe for now anyway.
Morbid way to look at it. I wanted to take a moment to shout out our fans. Thank you all. Don't forget to vote for your favorite sorcerer. I'll say that again. I'm a sorcerer, sir. I don't need anyone else to give me power. It all comes from me. So vote for your favorite sorcerer for MVP.
I feel this MVP vote is a big one, guys. Could come in real handy in what might be our first boss battle. Think carefully.
Forget that vote won me. The best fighter, the best warrior, the strongest and mightiest.
Hey, I'm the fighter. Remember, you have rage, you are a barbarian. Anyway, thanks for the likes and subscriptions. We are always grateful to our audience for tuning in and being so great in the comments.
Until next time, folks, thanks again.